This video is for So You Think You Got a Shoal training, the AISAP tool, Exercise 5, request new AIS data. Before starting, you need an AISAP account with a username and password. The exercise goal is to learn how to submit a query for AIS data to the U.S. Coast Guard National AIS Archive, or NACE archive. Note, you should only submit a new request after checking the AISAP library to see if the data you need is already inside the library. This is for yourself, just for the speed. It's a lot faster to use data in the library than to request new data. If you are unsure about how big of a query is too big, or you need a lot of data for a special project, or you don't know how to submit a query, then please contact marin.m.cress@uc.army.mil or myself, patricia.k.dejoseph@uc.army.mil. We're more than happy to answer questions about queries. So let's begin. Step 1 is to log into AISAP. So you can see that I'm on the AISAP website. I entered my email and password. I clicked the login button. Now, to do data requests, I'm going to change which screen I'm on. So I'm right now on the AISAP home screen. I'm going to data request. I'm going to go to query tool. So I click on the little arrow next to data request. I go to query tool. That was step 2. Step 3, we're just checking. We're going to go through the fields. Step 3 is checking the email field. So it should auto-populate your work email, the address associated with your account. Step 4, enter the start time for the data. So for this, we're going to do an example. Of course, when you're doing your query, you would do the date for what for the information you're interested in. So for this example, we're then choose the start time of February 1st, 2021, 12 a.m. Note, this is all in UTC. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Okay. Step 5, I'm going to enter the end time as February 2nd at midnight. So I could either type that in, I could copy and paste this, or I could use the calendar feature. So I'll use the calendar feature. I click on the this button to the right of end time, and I'm going to go change the month. So I'll go up here. I'm going to stay in 2021. If I want to change years, I click on that again. I'm in 2021. I'll go to February 2nd at midnight. So it'll give me full 24 hours of data. Note, for this is for the exercise. I'm just requesting a day data, so it's a really quick request. You're more than welcome to request. Normally we do about a month of data at a time, especially if you're looking at 5-minute data. So I'd say normally you'd request a month of data. We're just doing a day of data for this example to have a really quick request. And in quick, I mean the less data you request, the faster it returns from the Coast Guard. So by quick, I'm saying I'm putting in a small date range so that the data comes back really quickly so we can look at it. Okay. Now, for which vessels, I'm going to select all MMSIs. What does this do? This will return all the vessel data for my query. Sometimes someone's looking just for a specific vessel or vessels, saying maybe there's a vessel involved in an incident that they want to look at data just for that vessel. So in that case, you could then click selected MMSIs. Let me just go ahead and show you that, and then you can list which vessels, the MMSIs for the vessels. There's also a search feature that will help you find the MMSI if needed. But let's stick to all MMSIs so we get data for all the vessels, not just the specific ones we're looking for. Okay, step 7. To select the spatial extent of the query, first position the map over the area you want to query, such as the Calcasieu area or area in your divisions. In your division you like data for. So for example, see my maps right now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm going to zoom out. We're then doing example to keep with the rest of the lesson to Calcasieu. So I'm now moving my map to the Calcasieu area. I'm going to zoom in. You know, it's right here around Lake Charles. So you draw to query, you have to query a box. So you can click on draw box, I'm going to press down and continue holding my mouse down and drag. So I'm going to say this is the area I want data for everything in this box. Note you can't draw a polygon that's 5 sides of a regular shape. It must be a box. As I drew that in, you can see it automatically populated these fields. What are these fields? Upper left lat. So if you give the coordinates for this upper corner and this bottom corner, we get the coordinates for the box. So you have two options. One, you can draw it. Sometimes people would rather put in the coordinates for this corner and this corner, maybe because they already know exactly what area they want. Okay? So let's go on to step 10, where the next fields, as we scroll down, I'll actually scroll down a bit. Min speed 0, max speed 25. I'll just leave it the defaults. We often don't use this, but maybe if you're just looking for very fast vessels, maybe you change the minimum speed. I usually just leave it defaulted. Batch size. This is one. You actually won't see this on your screen. I have an admin account, so I see this. You won't see that, so just don't worry about batch size. The next, step 11, enter a sampling rate, aka a ping rate. So for us, we're going to do 5 minutes. So you're seeing default says seconds. You can change the unit. You click the drop down, minutes. I'm going to do a sampling rate of 5 minutes. So what does that mean? I'm going to get position reports of vessels where they were every 5 minutes. So I'll get the lat long of a vessel at 12, 12:05, 12:10, 12:15, etc., etc. If I wanted even more detailed data, maybe I'd choose seconds, and I'd want to see where a vessel was every 30 seconds. So I'd see where it was at every 30 seconds, so I'd get even more detailed data about the vessel. Or if I need less data, I could change to hour or days. So I'm going to go ahead and do minutes, sampling rate. I'm going to put 5 minutes. The next is step 12, number of records per vessel, the next field. This automatically populates. It's based on the sampling rate and your start and end time, so you don't need to worry about that, but just a quick explanation. Let's, instead of saying a sampling rate of 5 minutes, let's do 1 hour. So our request is for a full day or 24 hours. If I want 1 request per hour, that would give me a total of 24 requests for the time period I'm selecting. Suppose I chose sampling rate of just one per day. It's giving me an error, but then I'd want, just so you know, it's asking, that would equate to 1 request, because I have a total time period of 1 day, 1 request per day, a total number of records per vessel as 1. So obviously this is saying that's too small, you need to go math. So when I do minutes, 5 minutes, I get 288, so it's saying that 5 minutes, if you did 5 minutes for 1 hour, that would be 12 records, because 60 minutes divided by 5 is 12. There's 24 hours in a day. Our time period's 24 hours. 24 times that 12 is 288. So trying to give you an explanation of what this means, but more importantly, it just will auto-calculate, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay? Note, there's a little note that's popping up. You can't ask for too many records per request. So the max you can ask for sampling rates of 5 minutes or more is 15,000. If you're doing sampling rates less than 5 minutes, such as 1 minute, 30 seconds, the most you can ask for is 1,500. This is because the request sizes get too big, as in you're asking for too much data. The services to the Coast Guard requesting data don't work well. If you get an error like that, suppose you want too much data, it doesn't mean you have to not put in your request. What you would do is change the date range, so maybe you'd have to do less time period, submit your request, then do a second request of the next time period. So maybe you'd have to split your month up. Instead of requesting for a month of data, you request like the first 2 weeks of data, and then you would request the second 2 weeks of data. Again, this will turn red if number of records per vessel turn red if that's the case. But if you're asking for 5 minutes for a month of data, no problems. Alright, hopefully that didn't get too confusing. Again, if you keep getting red, you can't figure out why your request won't submit, just go ahead and email us or give us a call. Request description. Type in the request description. So this is, we can see in the example what I'm putting in. Calculus area. So where was my query areas? Good information include the date range. So we just requested data for all of February 1st, 2021. And it's at 5-minute sampling. This is good information to include in your request description. A few things. Everyone will be able to see your request description. So just make sure you don't put it, whatever you put in there, you know everyone will be able to see this. And then just make it descriptive. So what's the data for, or why is it? Maybe it's for a specific project. Maybe put a note in like for training, whatever helps you remember about the request. This is a good note for yourself. So I always try to include the area, the date, the sampling rate. Okay, you need to submit a request. You need a request description. If you don't have one, you're not able to submit a request. So please make sure to fill in this field. Now, step 14, include KML track lines. We're going to leave this unchecked. KML track lines are what you can use in Google Earth, for example, to animate the tracks. So you kind of watch a video of the vessel moving. If you need that or you want that, go ahead and check this. We're going to leave it unchecked. It's just the reason we're leaving unchecked. You're asking for less data with it unchecked, and the less data you ask for, the faster your query. So if you don't need it, I would just leave it unchecked. Limit request to bounding box. We're going to keep this checked. It probably should be default checked. We'll leave this checked. That's step 15. This says give us the data within our box. So that's pretty much makes sense. If I unchecked it, it would be, so again, limit request to bounding box. It gives us all the data in our box, which is, that makes sense. You want the data for the box you've provided. If I unchecked it, it would show, it would give me all the data for my box, but give me additional data. It would say, where else did those vessels travel on February 1st? So if a vessel was seen here, maybe it was seen here February 1st at 2 p.m., it would show me where else the vessel went the rest of the February 1st. So where else did it go? This could be useful for if you're looking at like port connectivity, system connectivity, origins and destinations. That gives you more data. So sometimes that's needed. Often people are just looking at their specific area. So for the most part, we leave it to limit request to bounding box. Alright, that was step 15, and then step 16 is just go ahead and click the submit request button. We can see it's clickable. Suppose I delete my request description, you can see it's grayed out. So if you see grayed out, it means one of your fields are incorrect. I go back and include my request description. So now I can go ahead and click submit. So I click submit, and you will get a pop-up, your request submitted, so you know that it was submitted. And even better, you will get an email, and it will be to that email of your user account with the email that was in the top fields. And you'll get an email that says your request has been submitted, and it'll also include all this information, so you don't have to write this all down. It'll include the time period, it'll include your sampling rate, it'll include the lat long of this box, so you'll have a record of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click close, and that is the end of exercise 5. Exercise 6 will show you how to check the status of your query, like is it done yet? Has it started? How long do I think it will take? Are a lot of other queries running at the same time, so mine's going to take longer. So that will be in exercise 6. So we'll go ahead and end this exercise 5.